done by 2. Right. Well, it's not every day your only child gets hitched, is it? I'll be there at 11, with scissors sharpened and hairdryer, well, serviced last week. I can afford it at the moment. How? That's my little secret. Right, Mrs. Farr. I look forward to seeing you. Bye. Detective Sergeant Barclay, I presume. Is that what you call the long arm of the law? So, what can you lay on me, DS? Possession of a playing card?
You haven't asked for your lawyer yet.
Maybe I don't have one.
Well, isn't that a shame? Just me and you. How cosy.
I'm not a violent woman, Mr. Barclay. Are these really necessary?
In my experience, petty espionage and criminal activity go hand in hand with dirty fighting. I bruise easily. You'll have to forgive me my suspicions.
I'm a hairdresser and childminder, not a spy or criminal collaborator.
We saw you make contact with one Bill Torrance, the oldest fisherman in the docks.
Children and old people are a thing with me, DS.
This one is as senile as he is bent. And this is a ticket to freedom issued to escaped and desperate crooks, getting out of town, as it were, on convenient passing vessel.
Maybe he just mislaid it in a game, if he's as senile as you said. You said we saw you. Unless you have blue blood, doesn't that kind of suggest someone else was present? I saw no one. You had me all to yourself.
I want a confession. By lunchtime, Miss Slasinger. Now, poverty. 2 children to look after. 2 mediocre jobs have forced you to take up this unsavoury form of earning. This is a list of criminals we know to have enjoyed your exclusive services. Someone had to be twisting Torrance's arm. It's twisted so many times, it's a wonder the bugger hasn't come off.
This is a long list of crooks. But there's one missing.
Don't get me wrong, Lynn. I like you and your kind. Without you, I'd be bored witnessing the bishops flicking beer mats.
Well, my youngest is always saying I do too much, but this is getting ridiculous.
Are you sure there isn't anything you want to tell me?
Yes. I could murder a coffee. Could, that is, not have. You coppers have very literal minds.
We'll have that drink now. Send someone in.
Of course, some have very lateral minds, shifting things sideways. I think you're a loner, Mr. Barclay. That's the first contact you've made with your fellow officer since you arrived.
I'll make an example of you, as I have with every other criminal who sat in that chair. Only one cup. None for our guest. This amounts to police brutality.
I'm sorry, Mr. Barclay. I just didn't have enough hands.
The gun, Tasman. Excuse the handcuffs, but apparently I'm a psychopath. Frisk him, Taz.
Beg your pardon?
Search him for a weapon.
He's clear, apart from this.
Pity, I was looking forward to a nice scuffle. Oh well. Lynette Slasinger, at your service. Employed by OASIC, and occasionally brought off the streets to help the police, and arrest the odd naughty one. I'm just sorry it was me and not one of the poor souls you framed for one of your other deeds. I think this is known as women's liberation. Terence Barclay, I'm arresting you on charges of criminal collaboration and attempting to conceal the truth. We just had to bring you out into the open. Outside that door are armed police officers and a hotline to the superintendent.
A trap. From the start. An out-and-out setup.
If it's any consolation, it took me 2 days to think this up. I've got to go now. I've got a hair appointment at 11. I haven't given up my day job yet.
Lydia, it's Tara. Guess who I've just spotted? Only our Lord and Master's Lord and Master, Liam Quarteridge. I should have picked him up. See what he's really made of. That would have buggered things up good and proper. What do you mean your name's Fiona? Well, good morning, Fiona. But where's Lydia? I see. Where's Ray? But he covers Kensington. Oh, I see. Bit bitch, aren't I? No, I can't stop eating. It's my breakfast. I don't care if you can't hear me because of it. If Raymond does phone in, tell him the golden streets of the capital are distinctly lacking in sport. It isn't fair, but I guess it's too early for people to start taking their clothes off, having only just put them on. I mean, you can tell him to get Lydia a phone. I need the company quick. Avril isn't on today. And you can tell him this. You know that girl got signed up with the same pair as Ray? Well, my darling, get a load of this.
Nelson's column. Nelson, the most enduring and certainly the tallest custodian of our great city, looking down on us for hundreds of years as a reminder set in stone of his great courage. Looking down at us over the last century, I wonder if he could believe in our country now. Safe is a word gone from our streets. If any one of you can honestly say you haven't looked over your shoulder today, I would not believe you. 2 years ago, I set in motion my own solution. I have been criticised for it, accused of fighting anarchy with anarchy. But consider what we suffer so vulnerably. Would Nelson have tolerated cowardly and indiscriminate slaughter? Nonchalant and routine theft, the crushing of the poor and powerless? This is why I earnestly urge you to guard your backs, and those are the ones you love and trust. Unite and protect yourselves with the power of the law, because I believe in you. It is why I ask you to stand this tall. In cooperation with the police, as never before, I give you OASIC, the Unallocated Street Intelligence Chain. It allows you to fight crime with the letter of the law. It may save your life, or even the entire humanity of this country. Melodramatic, you might say, so long as you can see nothing over your shoulder.
What's that? Surely it isn't a medal.
No, it isn't a medal. It's the on-street initiation insignia. We gave her that just after she passed her tests and reached the streets armed.
Hold it out, Lynn. Make it look like an OBE. That's it. Maybe Her Elderly Majesty will remember you in the next honours. Okay, when I say the word, I want a mean but friendly tease.
But this has nothing to do with the assignment.
It's all for show, darling. A boost for business. More fire and brimstone for our Mr. Quarteridge to crow about.
Liam Quarteridge is our ultimate boss, I'll have you remember. Thanks to his crowing, we get 2 holidays every year. And people need us, do they not?
I do beg your pardon, dear. I wouldn't want to bite the hand and all that. But sometimes I just can't abide his performances. The merry militant indeed. Why doesn't he just take a bow and say, was that better than Churchill? Who does he think he is? The PM?
Who in their right minds would be the PM?
Okay, a mean but friendly tease.
Makes one feel like a proud parent, really.
It might have done, had we been in the picture too.
friend at the embassy who helped you. We were all looked after. I knew his father. Keep vigilant and only have one bottle of wine.
I understand it's quite a fast one.
You're a good girl. You stay lucky.
Ray, there's no seats here. I've been on my feet all day.
Not in your bag.
That no, but that's work. And I thought you didn't like to hear the details. No. Now I sit.
Not yet. I want to stay here a while. That way people can come to me. I can assist your sisters should things get out of hand. I like to have my finger on the pulse.
Sisters? What? With you as Mother Superior?
Would you rather be called a tart? It's all very well the powers that be making your line of work legal, but they haven't any proper name for you yet.
Yeah, and when they do, it'll probably be something like public service sisters.
We do have more than just one talent, you know. You hurt me with my work, all of you.
It's practically obligatory. And you don't just take on girls that won't. And you're not beneath the humiliating those that do refuse. I sometimes think I work for you for curiosity as much as money. What are you, really?
Here's to a job well done, and I imagine he will be well done.
Barclay, what will happen to him?
Oh, he's a very special sort of villain, the embarrassing kind. Deportation and reformation of character, most satisfying. Anyway, congratulations on your arrest. It's just as well. Terry Barclay was one of the most respected of his kind. He could do no wrong. Whenever he pointed a finger to cover his tracks, people would follow it. It could have been years before he was caught.
I think it warrants payment before dinner. Rachel? When you have business children earning as we do, then you too can earn commission.
That goes to you.
Put it this way, dear. A, we take a percentage because we are your sponsors.
And B, we gave you the tip-off about Barclay from our sources. With respect, you simply went through the motions.
I just thought it would be more.
It was a top arrest. We don't wish to be greedy, but we must observe the benefits due to us.
And the bonus benefit from a case like this is quite extortionate.
I see. Well, I have all that to look forward to.
Exactly. Your lad Poynting has already shot a burglar in the leg. Wasn't he a butcher's assistant a few months ago? Then there's that schoolgirl, the one that helped you today.
No, Dev. I feel I know this casserole personally. Strangers would only upset it.
Charming. Strictly between the two of us, did you get a buzz when you put the gun to Barclay's head? Admit it, you did. Not only were you making a grown man squirm, but a double-crossing bastard.
To tell the truth, it wasn't me. Tasman made the contact arrest. I was just the bait. It wouldn't have happened any other way.
You used your schoolgirl in a crucial checkmate. I find that rather alarming. Henry!
I can't leave my baby simmering.
Lynette tells me the vital gun intervention was made by Tasman.
The schoolgirl? Oh, Lynn, you make me nervous. I didn't sleep for 2 nights when Poynton first hit the streets, but this...
She isn't like John Poynton. I like and trust her. We understand each other.
Keep talking, it's supper time.
I took a tomboy and brought out her ambition. She was about to leave school, so it was an ideal time to feed her a career. She's not gun-blazing like Poynton. She has a moral stop button, if you know what I mean.
I should hope so. I don't want an illicit shooting laid at my door. Mr. Courtridge talks of courage and incompassionate judgment. Moral stop buttons could backfire on us.
Career, you say? I think the proof of the tomboy is in the squeezing. There's nothing like learning from an old hand. Someone who's come out on top. A businessman with 11 extra pairs of eyes.
Smart move.
Who do you mean?
With respect, the best plumer groomed.
You want Tasman to meet Ray Drummond? I just think his career advice might not be what she wants to hear.
What a negative attitude.
I just think it might be counterproductive.
Drummond is a success story whether you stomach his line of work or not. No one knows the streets better than him. I think you should do it. If she is going to be too crusty for this work, then you know this will be the acid test.
He's another plumer recruit. A youngish guy with a tough business mind. He does exactly the same as we do, but manages the other aspects of his working life better. He buys property, provides a public service.
And I now know everything about him apart from his name. May I know that? I'm nearly at school.
Ray Drummond is his name. He lives in the centre of London, near Soho.
The brothel king.
You know him?
At my mother's charity do, he was there. Oh yes, he's quite a big figure where I live.
Another one of his businesses.
Homeless single mothers on the streets being one of his prime charities, many of whom used to work for him. Or should I say slave? What sort of a country legalises what he does?
Please, Taz, just listen to him. His operation's quite sound. These girls can look after themselves, and there's always a choice.
I'll see you at 5 at Westminster tonight. I have to start revision at 7:30, so he's got 2 hours to impress me because he hasn't yet.
Lydia, target area. Oh, quiet. VIPs in the vicinity will lie low, awaiting further instructions.
However much you wish to encourage equal opportunity, you'll always find a spot such as this, which is guarded by someone of privileged living. It's all locality. It's like a neighbourhood watch used to be.
Which doesn't necessarily mean they won't pitch in and get their hands dirty in the labourer's sense when duty calls.
In an ideal world, Superintendent, you of course would encourage that with your dogged optimism.
You all have to be a bit grim on the outside. What use is the privilege of princes when you have a drunken knifeman with nothing to lose in a dark alley before you? No, if I were a general, it would be frontline troops for me every time. Not that I'm a sadist, but you're either up to it or not.
We all have to start somewhere. You used to be a meter maid.
These little fellows set the stakes and I booked them. Must be cut out for cracking the whip.
But you had to move on and up.
In my case, it was a cross. It was a role I enjoyed, but I was and am aware that I could wake up one morning and find myself in an entirely new one.
This class division you worry about.
Not without reason.
You're not the only one. As you know, there was a buyer for the atrocity. It's an everything to lose situation, where either him or us, or the government. My hands are tied, as is the Minister of Health.
He must be found, sir. We have to persuade him to handle the whole mess with discretion. It must never happen again if he tries to bribe us.
I know, Superintendent, I know. It's the crime and poverty that we so earnestly combat that has caused all this. Whatever we do, we must take the burden of guilt for acting on brilliant ideas far too late. This won't do.
For Tara Arvo. Tara, what do you know about the atrocity and whoever has bought it?
What can he offer me that isn't steeped in filth and deceit?
What he does is no different from us, just with more manpower.
Woman power?
These girls have been struggling since things became legal to gain respect. You're only making matters worse. So be quiet, listen and grow up.
The tour's only just started. This shows an amalgamation of all my various enterprises. Charities, many of them. Impressive, don't you find? I would point out that my girls not only do their work, but keep street vigil for me. I have, in effect, 11 more pairs of eyes. Hookers. Yesterday's criminals bolted the stable door against crime today. And a lot of useful business clients have been discovered by my girls. If you can appeal sincerely and confidentially to a man's base instinct, his depravity if need be, he'll trust in you, but more importantly, he'll sign on that dotted line.
Bribery?
I'd prefer to call it compromise. Categorically the only way to survive. And now to the streets. There's someone downstairs I think you should meet, Lynn. Lynn, Tasmin, this is my senior street operative and friend, Tara Hanley. In a minute she will tell Tasmin of an average working day in her life. But first I think you two have a lot to catch up on. I want to consider all this. You are about to leave school and I have a growing business.
You're serious?
Face it, you're no scholar, Tasmin Abbott. You've already blown your mocks. This on street life has scuppered your chances. The killing burden out of all divert your precious little mind. So listen to people like me and welcome yourself to the 21st century.
Are you satisfied? I do hope so.
You take what you can find. Drummond can offer far more than you ever could. Do you realise how small your world is?
I asked you to join me first.
And be your little lapdog, just like old times? We grew apart at college. You chose to settle down and you left me with nothing.
I met the man I wanted. Things happen. You have to bear with me.
Nothing and no one, Lynn. Do you know how that felt? How long do you bear that? No. Ray made the bid for my loyalty. And you've got your little schoolgirl to fetch and carry for you. Very appropriate. So don't you dare sneer at me.
You decided to show your face to me at last, did you?
Not to you, I think you'll find.
You have now. You're a secretive lad, aren't you? Perhaps you need someone to talk to.
I have a special interest in this area. All those posh folk coming and going, all their important little matters.
But there's no one here now. Just you. So how about I talk to you?
I suppose there's a lot I can learn from you.
Let's set ourselves down and you can tell me all about yourself.
Look, darling, you're not listening to me. You were going to do the talking, you still might.
Damn you, you're hurting me!
You're not just an ordinary little street girl, are you? Your boss is up to something, now start talking.
Do you really want to argue with a switchblade? Our Summers is just around the corner and she can throw any man across the square, even an ape like you.
He and I are in the same business. We watch the streets and that means each other. Remember, you heard it here first, and you can tell him that.
You can tell him yourself as he carves you up.
It's a tight-knit operation. I could happily sleep the night in this old park. In the summer, of course. As long as it was okay with Raymond.
You do everything he says.
In our fashion. We aren't robots, you know. Can't you understand? We relish what we do. We live on our wits. Sometimes it's soft and sensitive. Sometimes it's jumping out of windows when things get hot.
What is it better?
You can collect minds too. Get close and talk to people. You don't have to be a master of whatever to do it. It's got more rewards than punishments. I wouldn't do it otherwise.
You're just another leg of the Drummond enterprise.
Now, Drummond likes people to bare their souls. There's more to him than just money. He's the cleverest man I know. I love him to bits.
And he's a role model for every wannabe entrepreneur.
I guess so. Yes. Lydia, this had better be important. Oh, hell, that's all we need. Do you realise he was with Ray at the moment? Are you sure it was punting? Okay, I'll watch out. Just go calm yourself down, go and get a cup of coffee. Tasmin? Tasmin, are you there? I've been robbed.
I know she can do it if she really wants to, but it's the ugly underside of our work she doesn't like.
Ray, she's gone. She's scarpered. I looked and looked. Now she's at Lucy in London.
You did this on purpose, scared her away to spite me. Happy now?
I think you should look to yourself, Miss Flesinger. You came here, albeit at the behest of our sponsors, telling me you're a young girl interested in success. All I've seen is a speechified emotional infant, Victorian London fog. But if you still think it's worth it, don't let me detain you. Run and fetch her. You still have 45 minutes of duty time.
We were in the park. She headed for the golf course.
And don't let me hear you blame Tara. She's hand-picked. You wouldn't be wise to start an argument with her.
Thanks. I tried. She just wouldn't listen. The poor kids had too much too soon.
Perhaps. Lynn says she's just another brat. Nothing like collecting the set. And what brings you to a dangerous area like this?
Sniffing out law enforcers, not enforcing the law, juggling rich acquaintances, sending your women to snoop.
John Poynton, isn't it? The butcher boy.
We all have to start somewhere.
Well, this is where you stop. Without substance to your smears, you're powerless under your own rules. But what's worse for you is that in this neck of the woods, you're under my power. But I do business with people without my restraint.
You mean collaborating with criminals to gain a foothold in the underworld, to attack it? It's quite a trick if you have the courage. What kind of enemies are you making in the process?
You're way out of your depth, Poynting. And you upset Lydia. She doesn't take kindly to being upset. I should have fed you to her.
I rather think that's what she had in mind.
And Lynn Schlesinger has had enough problems today without letting of your trip to my domain. But should you trespass on my world again, you'll be returned to your previous profession of prime cup. Do you understand?
I understand the consequences, yes!
Girl, don't do this to me, not now.
On the button as ever, Lynn. 7:30. Your chores are over for the day.
As you once said, for another 6 hours I can pretend I was never just a mere hairdresser. Well, your 6 hours have passed you by once again, Cinders.
We just happened to be out for a stroll. You can only do so much in a day.
I'm very glad to have got you actually, Lynn. Our place, 9 o'clock tonight. Could you oblige? It's short notice, I know.
Dinner?
Not this time. A more formal event, I'm afraid. Ray Drummond will be there. See you later.
Well, I think the third toast of the evening should be to our beloved enterprise.
Beloved, you know I get the distinct feeling that you enjoy your work, Raymond.
Do the two of you feel suitably refreshed after that, your third drink?
Blissful, Mrs. P.
Then I'd better confront the burning issue without delay. If Mr. Drummond will allow me to be the arbitrator.
By all means.
I don't normally interfere in the activity initiative of my clients. But Lynn, I do want your opinion on this.
On what?
A complaint. From Mr. Drummond. His girls questioned and bullied.
And the man himself ruthlessly questioned about his activity initiatives. Implied and unsupported allegations made by one man, John Poynting.
John? But why?
So this wasn't on your instruction? Good. That's what I wanted to know.
No, it's not on our ground or brief.
Poynton seems to think so. We can't have this cross-examination of each other. Raymond is a very successful and capable man with a cast-iron control of his streets.
We can't allow this harassment. It has no substance presented to us or known by you. This too is alarming. How well do you know Poynting, Lynn?
He may not be on my wavelength like Tasmin, but I flatter myself that I enjoy his trust. He finds it difficult to trust. He comes from a fostered background. Equally, he has instincts.
I certainly consider myself well and truly sniffed out.
There must be a reason.
Well, I'll leave it with you then, Lynn. If he has something to say, he says it officially or not at all, or he'll be returned to his previous profession. I should go and sort it all out now, Lynn. It's not too late. No time like the present. Off you go.
There is something else. This evening, after her visit to Mr. Drummond, Tasman went missing. I looked for her, but my time ran out. I rang her parents, but they were at a loss too.
This is the mighty Tasmin Abbot whose praises you keep singing. The fearless fighter has fled. I thought she promised us a real Huckleberry Finn.
I overestimated her stamina. Like I said, she's sensitive to certain matters of human rights, I suppose.
I see. A difficult day for you. I can clear you of the next 4 days' service at a pinch. You have that time to find her.
I'm grateful. She must be thinking things over. It's that awkward age. She's got to decide whether this is a lark or a career that she wants.
Punctuality from her would be a start. Make sure she returns, Lynn. With pointing under suspicion, your career in this chain depends upon that young lady. Don't let us down. Good night.
Poor young fool. All on her own. Let's hope the place she's run to has an Oasic operator. Heaven only knows who she'll meet in the dark.
All of 15. And out on your own? How many are you with?
Who are you?
Just call me Geraldine. We're all you meet, so why bother with names?
Oh, yeah. It's very dark. Do you always look about at this time?
Usually much later. Not in all my years on this disappointed, frustrated world has anybody successfully ruined the peace of the night.
I see. Well, Geraldine, are we going to stand here all night and count the stars, or are you going to help me find a nice cosy bench to sleep on?
I could put you up. Would you trust me?
Well, let's talk a little first.
So you've run away from home?
In a sense, there's more to it.
You've no family, no brother, no sister?
I have a sister. She's married in Sheffield.
Can't you turn to her?
Not her. I can't just walk in on her. She's done well for herself. I don't belong there.
Everybody belongs somewhere, even me. Welcome to the Ritz.
Seriously, that's very nice. It's the most I've had all day.
I don't eat during the day. In fact, I choose not to exist at all during the day. Besides, you're preoccupied with this quest of yours.
I'm sure there must be a career out there for me somewhere. Perhaps as stimulating as Oasic. The whole idea of being responsible for law and order. It's ordinary people recruiting ordinary people they like. But I may not like them, may not have any faith in them at all. They may not have any in me.
People are people, all part of the same world. This country's been ruined by vote grabbers. The more outrageous life becomes, the more outrageous the solution. You need to drop out like me. Welcome to the tribe, sister.
No offence, but I want to be part of that life. A cog in the works, but the right cog.
A crusading cog. One of those. Are you sure your sister's not the right sort of cog? She sounds it to me. You're afraid of her, aren't you?
They asked me to contact you last night, so be grateful. What have you got on Ray Drummond? What have you discovered?
Whatever it is, I haven't got proof yet. Whatever I tell you, you'll just go back to the Plumers on report. That's why I can't tell you.
Off the record, then.
There's no such thing, and even if there was, you'd only be looking with me and getting into trouble. I don't want that.
I'm sure you don't. But we don't have secrets here, John, not amongst ourselves. You're that close from suspension. Ray Drummond is a dangerous enemy to make.
Without proof, this thing isn't going to be healthy for you, me, or anyone. It's important, Lynn, can't you see that? Don't you trust me?
I won't stand this gypsy wandering any more, Poynton. Either do your job or leave. You don't interrogate colleagues without a damn good excuse.
I suppose assault was mentioned?
You know it was. You can thank your lucky stars that Drummond stayed shut for most of the inquiry. Rachel and Henry did most of that. You see the respect that man commands?
That's just the way he likes it. No one will touch him. He thinks I'm jealous, and so do you.
That's enough. Our assignment is a proven case. This week we move in on the Bull drugs ring. Orders of the Plumers, orders of the superintendent. And that is your job while I'm away. So I expect you to do it. These are dangerous thugs, not shadows.
Informants say they move at the end of the week.
Then that's how long you've got.
Lynn, it's Tara. I've a lead on Tasman. Thought you'd like to know.
This wouldn't be a bribe or a gloat by any chance, would it?
Neither. It's information received. Do you want it or not?
Of course.
The word is she's hiding out in North London and she'll make for Waterloo. But where, we haven't got a clue.
You felt you owed me that.
Something like that. Is that a thank you?
Something like that.
Good luck, anyway.
Now I've got a lead of sorts, so it's up to you, John. I'm going after her and I may be gone a few days. When I come back, you will not have touched Drummond's pitch and the Bull drugs ring will be crushed. Do you understand? You promised me that.
Don't worry about the Bull. I'll sort that out. I don't need a chaperone. Now,
She didn't show, or I didn't show up at the right time. Either way, I've messed up. Big time. Rob, what shall I do now?
Your husband?
Boyfriend, and father of my 2 kids. Big tough guy he was, without a care in the world. The doctor said he didn't stand a chance. Crowbar it was, mugged in a quiet alleyway.
I'm sorry. It may be a bad time, but I've come to tell you. Mr. Drummond, I think you know.
He sent you? And which one of his girls are you?
Lydia.
The girl that John attacked? I don't know what to say.
Forget it. Concentrate on getting your young friend back.
Do you have any more on where she might be?
The Sheffield housing developer, Angel Tyler. Do you know her?
I think I know the name, yes.
Tasman's older sister.
Good God, she kept that to herself.
The word is, Tasman will try to head for her. Try to get her to sort her out. That's all, I'm afraid. I must go.
Did Tara find this out?
She's busy with her partner, Arthur.
no. No, Lynn, you're walking right into their hands.
It's not worth the risk, Mr. Poynton. Please don't meddle in matters you're not assigned to manage. Drop it before you get hurt.
Work, then school, then work, then school. It grinds you down after a while. When I was younger, climbing trees, beating at the boys, I'd have killed for a job like the one Lynn offered me. Then it looked as though I'd have to do just that.
Kill someone? For real?
In self-defence, naturally, in extreme cases. But when we protect the police forces, we have to do the same things as them.
I still don't get it. Help the police? How?
It's a chain thing. You have people, couples ideally, paid and sponsored by the police. Then you have people that know them, normal people who know as friends, or they've met somewhere. People they can trust. If they're willing, people A take on people of person B, and so on. You have a network covering the streets of an area after a while.
So you were recruited by Lynn?
She came to our school to talk about the children. She's a childminder too. We got talking about this OASIC thing. We both got attached to the police force.
And Lynn?
She got recruited by a posh couple called the Plumers. She used to be in secretarial work with Rachel Plumer in their post-college days. They were buddies.
All your problems are back in London, so why are you here in Wales?
You said come and stay if I ever needed help.
Oh no, of course, but what are you doing?
Running away to my sister's in Sheffield.
But this isn't Sheffield.
I know, but it's a good stop-off point where I can think without people asking me questions.
And despite Mrs. Tyler's pertinent and ambitious plans for the renovation of the swimming pool at Aldgate, this industrious young queen of construction must learn that her popular methods in the north cannot be overnight accomplished in the south. The matter has been deferred to the committee of whatever. Nonsense. I'll have my mid-morning coffee, if I may. Another enemy. What fun! I know there's more fun when they're more inquisitive. Michael? Our polite probe into the buyer of the urban curtain is blown. He knows who we are. More importantly, we know who he is. The strange thing is, it sounds like he wants more than just a fight. He wants information from little me. As if I've got something else he needs. No, maybe it's something else. That makes me a rather interesting opponent. Eh, Michael? This'll take an inquiry of the most intimidating order. If what I've discovered is true, I can throw the humanitarian book at you. Then, Mr. Drummond, you and I can get to know each other better. Enemy.
Enemies, Tara. People behind closed doors to be aware of. And now Lynn Slasinger. But thanks to your friendly advice and a timely ear to the war in North London, we know she's gone to Sheffield and maybe sometime.
Oh, come on. What it boils down to is she's little Bo Peep and she's lost one of her sheep.
And the other hovers like a vulture over us. He was there at the rendezvous with Lydia yesterday. You imagine that Lynn isn't instructing him?
I thought we were supposed to be helping this stupid cow. And it was her butcher's boy that was out of order.
Too many coincidences. Lynn Slasinger was a brilliant street officer, yet she loses a star pupil on our doorstep, yours and mine. She's bitter about you, remember? And that little girl's big sister just happened to be my only known opponent in the north. Small world, you might say? Too small.
You know Angel Tyler?
A rival property dealer. You just declared war on each other. Suddenly everybody's interested in my deals.
Like the one you don't want to tell me about. The Kensington job. All that parading for Lydia to do. Only Poynton caught her out, didn't he? What was she up to? Which of the embassy visitors did she have to sleep with?
You're overstepping the mark, girl. Getting too close for your own good.
How far away from you must I be before you're comfortable? I've had a redundant afternoon, Ray. I have a status above the other girls. You said so. We share bodies. Can't we share minds too? The only answer I've had is this. You can't be alone forever. You'll go mad. Share the burden, please.
I need to meet my sponsors. The ones up there on the Abigail and Slasinger. Tell Margaret in North London I want everything Tesman's contact was told. That girl is the key.
And then?
The only way she'll get to see Angel Tyler is by appointment. To her, Lynn's just a jumped-up second-rate policeman who's hounding her sister.
Promise me something. You work tonight, but tomorrow you'll be here with me. When you take me away from Avril and leave me here to do the office, the loneliness is crushing. Stay with me every other night, Ray.
Tomorrow night then, poker and plonk. Then I have a special mission for you.
Thanks for good stuff off. I'm ready to face Angel now.
And who?
I want a second opinion on that, Angels.
How about the regular police force?
Desperate and overstretched. Why do you think they rely on OA6 so much for public support? I need something along Angel's line that's more positive.
Well, as her little sister, you'll be at an advantage.
No, that's one thing I won't have. You don't know Angel. But I think she'll see me. She still sends me Christmas cards. Bye then, and take care.
If you ever need us again, just turn up, yeah?
Yeah.
Bye.
Next stop, Sheffield.
Sheffield? What for?
I'd found out for that Tasman's sister lives there. Angel Tyler, the housing woman. Who?
Who would have thought that mouse could have such a sister? So you think she's taken shelter there? And Lynn?
She's not got far. She's rung my senior girl Tara several times to report. They go back a bit, those two. But nothing and no luck reaching the great AT.
What it is to be in the know. Her 4 days searching are nearly up. She's bound under her contract to return. Then we'll open our little rule books and decide what to do. I suppose there's that, is it?
It is. There's another more frightening aspect to her absence. The wild man, Poynton.
He's been asked to keep guard and move in on the Bull pub in Lynn's area. He has till Friday to stop them.
It's not ladies' work. These are brutal, violent men with a living to sustain. Technically, it's Poynton who must intercept, calling out our boys in blue to help. But instead of watching his own back, he's been watching yours.
I thought he might be. I've taken the liberty of watching the Bull pub myself whenever possible. A nobly duty only.
Then keep us informed, if you please, Raymond. Poynton's suspension will be the key issue when Lynn does return. You've got to show a point in what kind of service you're offering. Something to cool his suspicions.
And that's exactly what I shall do, Mr. Plumer. Everywhere the lamb went, the wolf was sure to follow. Lydia? It's Ray.
I'm glad you've called. I think Pointy's tailing me again.
I knew you would be. Listen to me very carefully. You must trust me on this. We are going to show Mr. Poynting what he wants to see, but not from where he wants to see it. You know where you should be going. The marks I referenced on the map I gave you. It's a small, desolate area, very old and empty, not a soul. Enter any of the smaller buildings, and Poynting will follow you in, but not out.
And it's deserted.
Utterly. The answer he wants is in there. He'll be quiet about it. Call me in 6 hours. Sorry, Lydia.
Time to ring the changes. My oasic venture has now spread to countless, or what seems countless areas, taking in all statuses of life, from the homeless coming in off the streets, to a lord of the manor pitching in despite his wealth, and maybe even with it. All working together as one. Love thy neighbour may be a somewhat precious thing coming from a man of my militant reputation. But what is important is to see what's around you. See what is behind things. See what has become of people. How many dogs have you seen kicked today? Wives beaten? Latchkeyed children in their hordes fending naked against the world? Do not be afraid to look at these things, because this is where crime starts, and it is where you should start. Prevent! Then we can have back with us the trust we had forgotten existed. Use that anger of yours to good purpose. Do not tolerate suffering at home or on the streets any longer. Too much has happened already.
Good day's work after all. You're not invincible, Drummond. See where you'd hide in this dive.
A long time and a long way up for her.
Tara cleans you out yet again. Honestly, Raymond, if this was strip poker, you'd be naked by now.
Fitted even.
Whatever business is on your mind, you're not enjoying the evening because of it.
I've 11 consorts and several businesses to think about. How can I ever rest?
All the more reason for me to be of greater help to you. I could be a secretary, accountant, bodyguard, lover, anything. Just name it. I'm your man. Well, you know what I mean. Unless you're telling me you have another favourite. Lydia, perhaps.
You know I've always trusted you the most. And I do need the greatest loyalty in the coming days. The Bloomers have seen fit to put us on Beetle of Lynn's Lassinger's patch. But you know I don't trust her.
We've got to watch her area too.
The Abigail has run, Lena's away, and Pointing has disappeared. Gone to ground, I imagine. You must trust my methods in this situation, because we're going to show your old friend up for the bungling, irresponsible opportunity she is. It's for her own good. Rachel Plummer's loyalty to her is clearly misplaced. I'd a wager yours is too.
Me? I work for you first and foremost, mister.
I often wonder, Tara Hanley, how black your heart really is. How detached you could be if I were to tell you my sins.
I won't know until you tell me.
How much do you want to know of me? That side you could easily gossip about to Avril as you put on your makeup in the morning? Or that side who will gun down a friend if it was dog-eat-dog one dark night?
Talk to me. And it goes no further than this room.
Where do we start?
Lydia asked about the atrocity, whatever that is. She said the Home Secretary and the Superintendent were all shook up about it. It's bad. Who bought it, Ray? It's a big cover-up and I can't help feeling you're involved.
First, you walk before you can run. A field exercise.
That special mission you mentioned.
This is the edge of Lynn's allocated street area. Not a happy lot by anyone's standards, even mine. On the corner here, the Ball. A large boozer currently housed in a small but dangerous drugs gang. We're moving on tomorrow night. With no Lynn, it's up to us. I want you to be the bait.
Bait? What do you mean?
Don't worry. Behind you will be all the imported muscle you'll need. After you draw them out into the open. Gates, Rito, Vinegar.
Vinegar? The one with the acid scar?
Right. And more. We'll be waiting in the shadows. Who would have guessed that such fearsome justice could be wrought by this strange streetwise girl?
I want Avril there too.
If you want. You've always loved danger. And I am danger.
I never doubted it. And this makes us all the more closer. Fall back up then. Leave it to me.
Do you really walk that far out in the open without a minder?
Michael was shopping. Besides, you can't survey the housing of Sheffield from the road. It takes close scrutiny so you don't miss anything. Or sure as hell someone will tell you. It's been a long time, Taz. You've grown.
10 years, I was 6. You never came home.
I got married.
Mama's gutted. You came up from nothing and you never came to see us.
And you? Do you intend to return? Or do you hope there'll be some room for you here?
Is there? I've come a long way and it baffles me that you aren't that surprised to see me.
Well, a persistent woman named Lynn Slazinger's been badgering my office for an appointment for the last 2 days. Wanting you.
And?
Well, you weren't here, were you? So she was sent away empty, as they say. She's your boss, isn't she? You've run away. And you're working while studying for the great Oasic. Your ultimate boss is the motley Mr. Quarterridge. All I lack is the deerstalker, wouldn't you say? So what's the problem? What's so bad you have to cross the other side of the country to your big sister?
I don't think I believe in the law. Not anymore.
Are you trying to tell me you're an anarchist?
No, but politicians make up the rules to fit themselves. To gain votes, to ease people's consciences. Did you know that in some cases adultery is accounted for and marriage fails? Quarterridge is there trying to stir us up. I went around playing with guns. I didn't really believe I'd use them. Then there's the rules we have to observe. The lives you have to wreck to maintain order.
Criminals is what you call them, and they deserve all you can meter out to them.
It's easy for you. You look out of the window and see from the view people like ants.
I was once one of those ants. I've not for a moment forgotten.
Then listen to yourself. Would you have me live a lie? Work day in, day out in total uncertainty and guilt?
Just because Section 24, paragraph 9 of the law says you have to twist a poor man's arm behind his back. I see the situation as clear as any I deal with daily. You walked out on a friend who helps you combat the biggest cancer of this age, crime. I heard the bleatings of the woman. She is prepared to stick her neck out for what it's worth for you. Now she's alone for her troubles. So go back to London and don't be such a bloody stupid little fool.
Charity doesn't begin at home, it seems. I knew you'd never help me, but I came anyway. Your trouble is you surround yourself by people who agree with you about everything. Everyone else is either humoured or an enemy. I'm neither, so I'll go back to London. I used half my savings to get here, I'll use the other half to leave. You'll be lucky to see me again when I'm 60.
You really want to work for me, eh? Well, okay, but first you've got to prove your guts, Taz. I've got a job for you. A spot of business surveying in the south to check out. A wrong to put right. Evidence I need. You can use your reluctant detective skills.
Where?
Well, this is the bit that you're not going to like.
Tara, that should be you on office duty, shouldn't it? Look, thanks for your help in the last week. I got to Sheffield, but no Tamsin. Could I impose on you further? I can't find John Poynton, my other recruit, and I know he's been bothering your boss. Has he been seen? I'm off to look for him now. If you've got this evening off, perhaps we could get together and talk. Start helping each other. Give me a ring on the mobile. Bye.
Sorry, Lynn, but it's my life now.
John, what time do you call this? John, what's happened to you?
I didn't find any state secrets or secret files, but I did find skeletons in cupboards. Some very recent.
You said no worries. That man is beyond reproach. He's invincible. Now you know why. He owns a national horror story no one will go near. Graveyard, graveyard, to all those who pointed a finger at him. Graveyard no one will touch. I got out of there. It took me days, but I got out. Little Lydia Maud, she wasn't so lucky. A large chunk of the upper floor came down on her head. She was sent there. Sacrificed. You wouldn't listen to me, would you? You wouldn't listen to me about him. People have died because of you.
No further, John.
Before I die, I'll take that inhuman creature Drummond with me. And you? Why not? You're as much to blame. You can go first.
It's the toughest challenge, the last resort, but you have to face it. You're a sensible, well-balanced person. Assess the situation, but you only have a second or two. You have the authority in such a case, and if the risk factor means shoot to kill, then so be it.
It's in the letter of the law. If threat is to life, and immediate, we have to kill. Even someone we've trained. Emergency service. We have an internal fatality. I brought the kids this time. But I have to tell you something while they're playing. I actually did it today. I shot someone dead. Just like I said I would, one day for you. The man I killed wasn't a criminal. He was a friend. And he had something to tell me. I owe it to him to find out what that something was. I have to carry on. Don't you think?
Geraldine? Geraldine!
You shouldn't be out this late on your own, little girl.
I'm sorry, Tasman. What have you done to her?
Sufficient enough to complete a picture. Here.
Somehow he knew about things before he got here, but he wanted to know about your Lynn for some reason.
How was the trip? I do hope Angel Tyler knocked some good sisterly sense into you. I suggest we re-evaluate our position.
You realise, Lynn, what I have to judge in this inquiry is whether I feel you deserve my support in this incident. Do you understand?
I understand.
Before the regular police do an inquiry.
From a less sympathetic angle.
He came out of me in a terrible state. He had some kind of disease. You must have read the report. He spoke about going through hell and back. Something about a building on the estate.
He must have been deranged. Why did he turn on Lynn?
Shh! One of Drummond's girls, Lydia, I think he said, died in the building. He attacked me. He accused me of not supporting him. He had a knife and clear murderous intentions. It's there in my training. God help me, I had to shoot him.
And the circumstances? Where had Poynting come from, the estate?
Yes, he must have walked straight through it. He'd been missing for a couple of days. For God's sake, what's in there?
Rachel, can we have a drink for our guest? Understand this goes no further than this room. What Poynting found has infuriated councillors and property holders, and frightened politicians. I know, those hysterical enough call it the atrocity, but it's better known as the urban curtain. It is a terrible case of a slum, a violent, deprived area being abandoned. One by one, every public service stopped going there for its own safety. It literally died in a sea of its own filth. Rats, unstable structuring, dangerous electrics. But worst of all, bodies. People died. They were either murdered, or starved, or died from any disease you care to name. Those rash enough to squat there, and there were some, reportedly never lived too long. I wouldn't be surprised if Poynting hadn't been suffering from smallpox when you found him. It may have been a mercy killing.
My God, what's been done about it?
Stalemate. The government found out after it was too late. And now an anonymous buyer has bought the estate. This could mean we could find a way to resolve this whole dreadful business. Before I go, you must tell me, was Poynting still chasing Drummond?
He must have been. He seemed to blame him for everything.
Lydia Moore is indeed missing. She could be in the curtain.
That's what Poynting said. He said she must have been...
Go on.
Sacrificed.
Tell Henry and Rachel I had to go. Lie low in for a few days until the inquiry.
She's gone. She had some business to attend to. I was advised to keep a low profile.
It's called suspension, dear. Did she not tell you?
Probably wanted to break it to you gently, eh? Can't have you questionably shooting your own staff without 3 weeks suspension as we sort it all out. You are in a mess.
Poynting was murdered, but not by me.
A sad day for us all. Tara lived life to the full and dies fighting street scum because of it, albeit off duty. Stabbed repeatedly to death. She was an irreplaceable asset and a good friend.
What was she doing in Lynn's area?
Tasman. It looks increasingly likely that she was enticed there by Lynn. It's a hard fact we must face. We have a taped phone message from Lynn to prove this. You read the report. She shot Poynting. She's no longer in control. Blind vengeance and ambition has eaten away at her sanity. You have to trust me on this.
But why did she kill him?
He was spying on Lydia. He had already attacked her once. And now she's missing, suspected dead. He must have got a little carried away and then felt the need to be put out of the picture. Now you must help me see that justice is done. I want you to join me. Not in the type of work that my girls do, I know how you feel about that. But strictly on your own terms. I have all the evidence, but you are a vitally impartial observer.
Angel told me a few home truths when I saw her, brought me down to earth with a bang. Shouldn't be surprised that something awful like this would happen. I'll help you sort this mess out, before anyone else is killed.
I need you to, Risen. I have a plan. I need to contact the Plumas this afternoon to arrange things. I want you to brave a dead woman's shoes and replace Tara. In the street vigil sense. That's Everil Summers, Tara's street partner. Can you imagine the heartbreak she's going through right now? Go and talk to her, get to know her, and I'll see to things. Funny, really. I can't imagine Tara face to face with the Reaper. She was so existential of this world. She wouldn't have left it without a fight.
John, Lydia, and now Tara. How many more? Rob, you would get me to pick that up and shoot someone rather than mope. Well, you're too late, Rob. I already have. Lydia, Tara, John. Drummond's kiss of death. He owns a national horror story, The Urban Curtain. Surely not. Are you so full of hate, Drummond? Lynn Slazenger? Avril, Tara's friend. Listen, I have to ask you some things.
I can tell you all that you want to know, but not over the phone. Meet me in the park by the golf course, by the bridge. Well, Drummond will be away in 2 hours, so I'll meet you then. We've both sustained a loss. It's time to fight back.
Thank you. It'll put my mind at rest.
This is a recorded confession. In a few minutes, at 2 exactly, you'll hear another recorded live. I think you'll find that your time wasn't wasted.
She really has flipped then.
She's tried too hard. Boiled over.
I've been swapping facts with Avril all morning. We don't have any doubts.
All we do now is wait. 2 has struck. Everything is being taped. Avril has instructions to divert our loyalty very discreetly.
You better be right, Ray.
Let's get closer.
In the end, it had to be something like that. I'm sorry I took you for a desk-bound bureaucrat. You were ahead of us all. Tasmin, I can't tell you what a relief it is to see you. I've lost so many friends recently. Miss Summons and I believe we've pieced together events.
No doubt the playback button will tell us as much.
No doubt.
2 treacherous, fickle bitches plotting together. You know what I do with fickle women?
We are the fairer sex, Mr. Drummond. A confession won't be necessary, sir. I have no illusions about your empire, thanks to the entirely fictional Avril, who resembles no persons living or dead. You have the right to remain silent, and you can, thanks to the cooperation of Miss Slasinger and Miss Abbott. But anything you feel like adding will You thought you were safe while you terrorised and exploited. Safe while you played both sides of the law against each other. It's over. Tara and Lydia were your last sacrifices. Stop in the name of the law. Darn, he didn't. Better get after him. You know what's festering inside there? You sure you wouldn't rather be arrested?
I'm quite sure, Mum. I prefer the deathly piece of this. People are repulsed, but they don't look at it because they know we all live for our own gain. My only crime is understanding that.
Amongst other things.
You can't hide from me, Ray.
You're wrong, Mum. Because while you have a life and a pension, you won't dare tread one foot in here.
At least you didn't say you'll never take me alive.
It's quite mad.
You can't run, Drummond.
What happened?
The devil looks after his own. Curtin's own electric chair. Here's the big shoes to be filled. But 8 girls can make their moral living now without the fear of dying for work they were never paid to do.
Why don't you set fire to the whole lot? Blame it on the electrics. Wipe the slate clean.
Coleridge and his government won't forget it. It'll be on their conscience.
As it should be. But fire?
Off the record.
There's no such thing.
Isn't there? To our mutual friend, Tara.
We would meet here every morning before facing the streets. She never knew who I really was, but I knew her during my mission. She had great courage.
What about her actual killers?
I was first on the scene. She had only just expired when they found her. I had armed officers descend on the drugs gang before they reached Watford, and I hope they rot in prison. Do you really still want this life?
If I can survive this and come out fighting, why not? We go on despite our losses, or maybe because of them.
I will need your experience as an example to others. Would you consider writing a piece for promotional press? I'd like you to do one.
It'll be a pleasure, ma'am, but I'll need to consult with my apprentice first. I think I know where to find her. Thank you for your confidence in me, ma'am. It's all still worth it, you know.
Just wondering how Tara felt when she realised there was no backup after all. She was left to fight Craig's gang alone. Desertion is a terrible thing. Sometimes it's the only answer. Haven't you asked yourself yet why I ran? Why I came back? Why I'd left Drummond to stop him?
You tell me.
I'm not the willing sidekick you take me for, Lynn. I'll always be grateful for all that you've taught me, but I don't want this life. The people we've lost, the wars we fight, we even had to shoot John in the course of duty.
I know, and I'll always hate myself for it. But it was, as you say, in the line of duty. The circumstances were extreme. It won't always be like that.
Now I've my chance to make out with someone else. I work for Angel now. She took me on the condition I would do one last spy job on Drummond. She suspected foul play and got wind of the urban curtain. I was a spy for the last time.
So your job reference was to use your crime-fighting skills to aid your sister's bloodhounding.
That's right.
If you can do that for her, you can do that for me. You can forget about Sheffield. I need you here.
It was my last shot at it, Lynn. I'm on Angel's probation or payroll now. Please forgive me. I'll write.
Forget it. It wasn't a suggestion. You have a job and a duty to do.
You own me! I ran away, but I came back and saved your skin. I've got to kiss it goodbye!
Damn it, I won't let you!
Lynn!
See how fast I'll run now. Pity. You have a fight in you that only your sister will enjoy now. I do owe you. So run along before I change my mind. It isn't broken. I'll live. We play rough. See you again one day, kid.
Bye.
Good evening, Miss Slazenger. How nice to see you again. You'll be amazed to see me. But hopefully not too alarmed.
You? I thought they'd locked you up.
A week's deportation and reformation, and they decided I was a good boy after all. So back I came, ready to turn over a new leaf. A souvenir of my bad old days. A mini-mic amplifier to fit our standard police radios. Old Torrance let the Chinese immigrants smuggle it over in a crate of bananas. This could be very useful to you.
A bent gizmo? How?
I couldn't help but overhear your little bust-up on it. Working for Angel Tyler now, is she? That leaves a vacancy. I need a new start. I want to work for you.
You're serious?
Why not? I understand the criminal mind. I used to have one.
Quite.
It could also prevent me from telling anyone. Like the press, for example. About the little bust-up with your friend. And who she really worked for. I'm not trying to steal your thunder. Can I help you up?
A good friend, was he, Ray Drummond? You must be sorry to see him go. One less society name to talk about. But hopefully you will talk about him at the inquest.
talk about his wanton, blatant disregard for life. Look after it. It may wind up being your pension.
I won't let you down, Lynn. The expertise of my former occupation is at your disposal.
You know, Mr. Barclay, in half an hour my OA6 shift ends. For the next 12 hours I can revel in being a mere hairdresser and childminder.